Acts podcast. I'm your host, Noah Love, and tonight it's a special edition because we will just be going over Penn State versus Notre Dame. The first CFP semifinal is in the books. Uh, it was absolute cinema. It was absolute cinema. It was an instant classic. Notre Dame stuns Penn State 27-24. Let's just get into it. Notre Dame, fantastic. They've been fantastic all year. They're back in the Natty. Wow. Uh they've been fantastic all year. Look, they obviously they bulldoze Indiana, then they bulldoze Georgia, and then they get here. Penn State to get here, obviously they bulldoze SMU, bulldoze Boise pretty much. But let's call spade to spade when it comes to this game. Let's call spade to spade. Like, Notre Dame is really good. Like, they're really good. We know a lot of people won't admit that they're really good. But let's get real. They low key got a little lucky tonight. Like, okay, so Penn State goes up early, 10-0, right? Penn State, they were controlling line scrimmage. Abdul Carter was having a big impact on the game. They obviously and Jilly had to drive before the half, make it 10-3. I'll give Marcus Freeman credit. This is not the luck part. This is not the luck part. This isn't where the luck part comes in. Marcus Freeman made halftime adjustments. Franklin didn't. That is where ultimately part of the game was won. But I also, they go up 17-10 too, but I also have to look at it like this. Penn State, they came back 7-play, 75-yard drive to tie the game. When Leonard threw the pick to Danny Dennis Sutton, I'm like, bro, that's a bad pick. And then Penn State obviously goes down to take the lead. Cam Miller falls down. He falls down. He falls down on the right. And it wasn't like he got boom, boom. He fell down. He just fell. And then Gray House, he's going to make a move on a safety touchdown. That happened. And then, okay, here's where the other part of the luck comes in. Okay, get the ball back, right? After forcing a Penn State punt, they get sacked. Leonard obviously got sacked. Then they had to punt back to Penn State. James Franklin, your quarterback's been struggling. Go to OT. Instead, he goes to his left. He comes back to his right. He forces a throw. It's picked off. Then Notre Dame runs 3 plays, or I think it was. Might not even been 3 plays. Might be more than that. But they kick it. Ball game. Kick it in ball game. This game was incredible. This game, like, wild. Like, this fourth quarter was wild. But I think Penn State blew it. I really did. You're up 10-0, 10-3, 24-17. You gotta go win that game. You have to go win it. And they did not win it. James Franklin did not make the adjustments. James Franklin, I'm convinced, will never win the big game. I mean, Notre Dame, and give credit, the reason Notre Dame won this game, though, if we really want to look at it, it's Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard made plays when he had to. Again, I know he had the 2 picks. He had touchdown, 2 picks. He was 15 for 23, 223. But he made play when he needed to. The rushing category, they only ran for 2.8 yards per pop. And it was 116 yards rushing. Now, Notre Dame can win the national title. Like, that's a no doubt, obviously, because they're playing the game. But coming in, I low-key didn't think they'd get to the Natty. Low-key, I didn't think that. because of obviously Georgia was standing in the way, but you didn't know the status of Beck and all that. And in this game, I thought, okay, look, I think Penn State's a more talented team, but can Notre Dame find that will early? And it looked like early on, Penn State, I think played better overall. I think they did, but they made crucial mistakes. Aller, a crucial pick. You got the falling down, not converting on 3rd and 3. You did everything possible. Like Aller, he was 12 for 23, 135, no touchdowns, one pick. Was not good. But in terms of the run game, they ran the ball the same amount of times. Penn State was 42 for 204, 4.9 yards per average, 3 touchdowns. Three of them, all three came from Nick Singleton. But their receivers did not show up. In terms of receivers, they had 2 catches by a receiver. And I'm not counting Tyler Warren because he's a tight end. I'm talking about actual wide receivers. You can't have that. So Penn State, I believe Notre Dame won it and Penn State lost it. I believe they both coincide with each other. And look, you gotta give credit to Notre Dame. A lot of people will say James Franklin can't win the big one. I think the more big one is, how about Marcus Freeman? This guy, this makes Brian Kelly look bad in so many ways, that Marcus Freeman can get to the national title game in a CFP that's 12 teams, not 4, where you only have to win 1 game to get there. He had to win 3, and he's gotten there. And he's won 2 New Year's 6 bowl games. Notre Dame, you gotta feel like, number 1, they're back. 2, they're just when I look at the matchup between them or against Texas or Ohio State, Ohio State's the one I get nervous about a little bit if it's for them, because there's just so high in talent, in the way that Ohio State has been playing has been off the charts. But I look at Texas, I'm saying Texas might not be, if they couldn't run the ball on Arizona State, and obviously we'll see what happens tomorrow night, but if they couldn't run the ball on Arizona State, what makes you think they could run the ball on Notre Dame? And obviously, Texas and Ohio State got play. But I'm just saying, Notre Dame, I'm looking at them. If teams that they're winning in ways that old school teams did, which we're gonna play great defense. We're gonna run the football. We're gonna ask our quarterback to not turn the ball over, make just the clutch plays. We're gonna take occasional deep shots. And we're just going to beat you playing complementary football. Overall, we're not going to try to beat ourselves. And that's what happens. And that's what happened. Notre Dame's now in the Natty. In terms of Penn State, look, Drew Aller, you better have signed up from spring semester courses, buddy. You're next year's draft, not this year. And this one hurts for Penn State, I think, because this was your best chance, I feel like, to win one. And you don't know if you're going to get back. I mean, you just don't know. Obviously, you don't know. And it hurt, and partially it hurts because not only you don't know you're going to get back, you were up 10-0 and 24-17. You led a majority of this game. You led the entirety of the first half. And then you led most of the fourth. If I'm a Penn State fan, this is a tough one. Look, we can get into, okay, people are going to say it was a bad call. The PI on Warren, they said that was a good call. The DPI when Warren, that's a good call. But people are going to talk about the calls, but Franklin's going to get killed tomorrow on get up and first take. And honestly, you have a quarterback that's struggling, just take it to overtime. But no, they throw it and it's intercepted. And that's basically how you lost the game. Mitch Jeter struggled with injuries. He's come back, been flawless. It almost feels like, though, if Notre Dame plays Texas, I feel like it's Notre Dame's destiny almost to win it. But if Notre Dame plays Ohio State, which that Ohio State Texas game is going to be fantastic. It's in Texas, so basically whole state behind them. Be that's going to be such a great game. But will it top this? I don't know, because this game was outstanding. The twists and the turns of all this game. Marcus Freeman, at what age is even Marcus Freeman here? Like, I'm looking this up because he's a pretty young coach. Freeman at age 39 is taking Notre Dame. We were going to have a first-time national champion head coach regardless because of the four that were still left: Franklin, Freeman, Day, and Sarkisian. None of them have won a national title. The only one that had been to a national title game was Day. But yeah, Freeman, Notre Dame's back. Notre Dame's back. I know there was a lot of heat on them. This is year 3. The first 2 years weren't great. Won some games they should have lost. This year they put it all together. And now they're going to the national championship game January 20th on Monday night in Atlanta. And hey, who said it? Who says they can't win it? Who says they can't win it? I know Ohio State's the betting favorite, but who says they can't win this whole thing? Who says for one game, maybe Ohio State doesn't play their best ball? Who says Notre Dame can't shock them? It'll be interesting to see. But if I'm a Penn State fan, I'm sick because this is a tough one. This is a tough way to lose. You've lost some tough games in Franklin's tenure. To me, this is going to be the toughest one. This is going to be the toughest one to swallow. This is going to be tougher than the Ohio State game this year. It's going to be tougher than the not the Michigan, than the Ohio State game the year before. It's going to be tougher than that. It's going to be tougher than the Ohio State game in 2017. It's going to be tougher than the Ohio State game in 2018 and the Michigan game in 19. This is going to be your toughest one, I think. Because you don't, again, like I've reiterated time and time again, usually, and this goes for NFL too, you don't know if you're going to get back with this group of guys, at least. If I'm James Franklin, you're kicking yourself. You're just like, man, if one or two plays go my way, or if I make one or two decisions differently, we may win the game and we're on to the national title game. But they're not. Notre Dame capitalized. No, Notre Dame, great story. Honestly, if they win the whole thing, it's great for college football. So not stunned. Great job, Marcus Freeman and company getting the dub. James Franklin. That was low key a choke job. I'm not gonna lie, and you did it on the biggest stage again. So, great job, Notre Dame, finding a way to pull it out. 27-24, instant classic at the Orange Bowl. Notre Dame wins it. Tomorrow, I'll be uploading a video giving you Ohio State Texas prediction, and I will be giving my NFL playoff of wild card round prediction. So yeah, that's it for tonight. Hopefully see everybody tomorrow. Take care. Notre Dame stuns Penn State 27-24.